This is, quite obviously, the Volkswagen Golf Estate. And I say quite obviously because this is one of the most recognisable cars on UK roads. It's not just familiar though, as the Golf Estate won its weight category in the Caravan and Motorhome Club Towcar of the Year 2025 awards. So coming up now is exactly why we like it so much. The car in question is the new Mark 8.5, a car that has had a number of updates to address a range of disappointments the Mark 8 had. Of course, as with any facelift, the looks have been tweaked, so there's a new front face, with some versions getting an illuminated VW badge, new colours and wheels, while the rear gets new light clusters. Let's start at the boot. I mean, it is an estate car after all, isn't it? Now, because this is just a facelift, there is no changes to the boot whatsoever over the Mark 8. So you still get this enormous 611 litre boot. It's a very practical boot. It's a good width, very good shape, pretty good height as well. There's also lots of lovely little touches back here as well. You get little lash down points at the back of the boot. The seats fold down really easily with these handles here. Those seats in fact split in a 60-40 fashion. And there's little hooks here as well. Extra little storage areas either side of the boot floor. The boot floor itself actually, every single Golf Estate gets a movable boot floor, so you can prioritise outright height or underfloor storage. Here we've got the boot in its highest setting, and you can see there's a bit of extra storage under here, even more so in this test car because there is no spare wheel. You'd probably want to spec that if you were buying this car, but nevertheless there is still a huge amount of space back here. And in terms of the tow bar, it's an electrically deployable one. It just folds out there and you have to pop it into position, and that costs £765. In the back, and it's all pretty good news, there is loads of space back here. Now you can easily fit a couple of 6-footers. There's loads of knee room. I'm about 5'10½". That seat is set up in my driving position and I've got more than enough knee space. Foot room is pretty good too. I can easily put my feet underneath the seat in front of me, and so too is headroom. It's a bit of a squeeze to carry 3 people back here, partly because the middle seat isn't really designed for a middle seat passenger, and there's the great big transmission tunnel. But for short journeys, it's not too bad. There's also some really nice convenience features back here as well. Of course, there are pockets on the backs of the seats, but also little ones up here which you could probably store your phone in there, for example. We've also got felt material in the door pockets in the back. That's repeated in the front. We've also got an armrest with a couple of cup holders, and it's very easy to get a nice comfortable seating position. Aside from that, there is ISOFIX in both outer seats, as you would expect. We've got climate control in this mid-spec style model. There's a couple of USB-C charging ports down there, and there's a tether point if you needed to carry a child seat in the front. Talking of the front, let's go and take a look. Now it's inside where VW has really improved things and addressed 2 of the Mark 8's biggest flaws, and that was material quality and technology. Let's start off with the technology. Now, the Mark 8.5 becomes the first VW to return to proper buttons on the steering wheel. Up until now, recent VWs have had terrible touch-sensitive ones, but here you get good old-fashioned buttons, and it's just so much better for it. Now, every single Golf gets this new 12.9-inch touchscreen. It's a huge improvement from the previous system. That system was pretty buggy to use, it was very laggy. This is an awful lot better. It's a lot quicker to operate, the menus are a lot more intuitive, everything just feels better laid out. And these sliders down here. Now they operate the climate control, the temperature, and the volume for the audio. In the last Golf, they were not backlit, so if you were driving along at night, you didn't know how to operate those at all. Here, they are backlit. Alleluia. Now, aside from the technology, there is an improvement in terms of material quality. Now, the previous Mark 8 really marks a step back in terms of build quality. Here, VW has improved things. There's a good swatch of soft touch plastic across the top of the dash. Everything does feel slightly better put together. It's still not as good as VW's heyday with the Mark 7 and 7.5, but it is better than the Golf that went before. There's a range of petrol engines available in the Golf, and even, get this, a couple of diesels too. The 2-litre TDI can come in 115 and 150 horsepower forms and could be a great choice if you are regularly towing, but don't dismiss the petrols. There's a 1.5 with again 115 and 150 horsepower, and both of these come with a manual gearbox. If you want auto, then you'll need the mild hybrid E-TSI versions of the 1.5. Now this engine also comes in 115 and 150 horsepower forms. It's the 150 horsepower that we've got here, and you might think the diesel is the king at towing, but don't dismiss this mild hybrid 150 horsepower petrol, because it's really good. Good spread of acceleration, fuel economy is very good too. Driving solo, I've been getting up to 51 mpg from it, and it's a very smooth and refined engine. Now the smoothness is definitely helped by the 7-speed DSG automatic gearbox, and like I say, it's a mild hybrid. What does that mean? Well, it means that this car cannot run purely on electric power, unlike a conventional hybrid. What it does do is it helps the car when you're coasting up to a set of traffic lights, for example. It just gives a little bit of electrical assistance, improves the fuel economy, and when you pull away from those traffic lights, again, it gives you a little bit of electrical assistance, a bit of a boost in acceleration, but primarily the job is to improve fuel economy. Now the ride is pretty good on all trim levels, bar the R-line, which gets a slightly stiffer setup. It tends to deal with potholes in a very sophisticated way. This particular car has got the optional dynamic chassis control. It's a pretty pricey £870 option, but it allows you to tweak the parameters a little bit more. So if you want even more comfort, you can really slacken those dampers off, and then you get a very plush and floaty ride, or you can whack it all the way up beyond sport mode to give a really firm ride. And I think it's a good option if you are a tower, and you would be if you're watching this review, because it just allows you to tweak the suspension to the perfect setting when you're towing. Now in terms of handling, it's fine. The steering is light and accurate. It goes pretty much where you want it to, which, let's face it, is pretty much what you need, isn't it? But yeah, it's absolutely fine. I mean, it's nothing to write home about, but nor is there anything to complain about either. Although, having said that, there is something I do want to complain about. It does feel very noisy in here. Now, that's probably because of these 18-inch wheels with low-profile tyres. They do kick up quite a lot of tyre roar, but it is very noticeable compared to a Mark 7.5, whether it's due to sound deadening or just different kind of wheels and tyres, I don't know, but this car does tend to kick up quite a bit of road noise, which does slightly get on your nerves when you're on a long motorway journey, for example. The Golf Estate took a convincing win in the Caravan and Motorhome Club's Towcar the Year 2025 competition in the 1200 to 1300 kilogram weight category. That mild hybrid assistance, albeit small, gave extra oomph on long, steep sections of the test course, and again in the hill start test. It also helped smooth out gear changes. The car's lighter foot feel and agile chassis setup gave the whole outfit a lovely sense of fluidity on all types of road, and those adaptive dampers, while expensive, are a very worthwhile option for caravanners, as it allows the driver to tailor the car to their requirements. The last Golf Mark 8 showed VW isn't immune from dropping the ball occasionally because it had so-so interior quality and buggy technology. But this Golf Mark 8.5 goes some way to addressing those problems. It has a far better interior fit and finish, and the technology is considerably better. More importantly though, this is a very competent tow car. It has nimble handling, it's very comfortable, and it has an enormous boot.